because of the professoriate's engagement with education, research, and academic service. The Faculty Senate is the chief instrument for acting as a collective body to ensure the quality of the instruction and the degrees that we collectively offer. It also serves as a crucial instrument for discussion and for the creation of consent around issues and challenges that the university faces. Those challenges are real, they're deep, and they're not going away anytime soon. The next few years are going to present enormous challenges of enrollment, funding, new leadership, and adapting to the new models of assessment. So let me talk about those 4 things. The enrollment challenge. It's not going away until the Board of Trustees approves what it does. They have been often, some of you saw them on the news the other day, saying we can't get along. They've got, hopefully, the ones who feel like they can't be effective will stop trying. We have trustees who understand the need to get off the front pages for the wrong reasons and let the institution get on the front pages for the right reasons. We have trustees who understand that the only disinfectant that counts is daylight. Having said that, we have other trustees as well. The university needs to broadcast to the world. Okay? And I think the problems with the board are historical and cultural. But the board doesn't run the university. We do. And the university has got to broadcast to the world that the faculty are in charge. We're in charge of education, we're in charge of research, and we are doing what we've always done. We're reaching out to students, and we are picking them up. Students from some of the worst school districts in the nation become teachers, researchers, musicians, poets, banking professionals, entrepreneurs, and nurses. We had a workshop on retention. As to retention, there is no doubt in my mind that faculty have a role to play, but we are not the problem. Students need to be treated with dignity and respect at every stage of their enrollment, financial obligations, and teaching experience, and that does not always happen. I'm firmly convinced that students are not treated with dignity and respect. I am no fan of the student as customer model, but what that does mean is that students need to be treated with dignity and respect. And yes, they do have choices. The financial stresses that the university faces, again, are not going away until after the financial stresses that the state faces are better. What role the Faculty Senate has to play in that is the role of insisting on financial planning, that we be in on the discussion, we see the plan, and most importantly, that academic affairs should be the last area squeezed, not the first. We're not one among equals. We are the most important area of the university, academic affairs. Next year's Faculty Senate will be working with the new permanent president. That process is underway. I agree with everything that Dr. Watson just said. That search process needs to continue. I think to award the position to Dr. Warwick without the rigors of a full search would cheapen the prize. It would imply an underlying suspicion that she might not be the best candidate for the job, in which case, why give it to her? If she's the best candidate for the job, a fair search process should make that clear. And I want the best candidate to get the job. Here's what I want to see in a candidate. I want to see the ability to fundraise. I'm not sure I have seen a really effective fundraiser as president, and I could live with that if we had a president who knew who the good fundraisers were, empowered them. We had a dean for a while. He's no longer a dean, but he's come back to state, Ken Lewis, who was one of the best fundraisers the university has ever seen. And he was not allowed to do his job. He was not empowered to be the fundraiser he was. previous president, but that's the kind of mistake I don't want to see happening. So I want somebody who will be a good fundraiser, or at least be able to recognize the abilities and surround him or herself with those who have the abilities to fundraise. Collegiality has got to be a part of what the next president brings. One of the commonalities of the failed presidencies I've seen is a tendency to rule from the top. And usually when things get tough, people hide away in their offices. On a campus this size, the president needs to be discussing truths, both ugly and pleasant, with the faculty on a regular basis. I want to see expertise in best practices in higher education. SC State is still transitioning into a model of 360 assessment that SACS more or less demands. There is nothing about that model which we cannot do, which will not, to some extent, improve us. Having said that, I don't feel like we were in on the discussion of SACS's discussion of quality enhancement from the beginning when we should have been. One of the things I saw when I was chair of QEP was that our neighbor, Claflin, had a president, Dr. Tisdale, who had been helping to shape that discussion for years, the discussion of quality enhancement. I want the next president to be somebody who will be engaged with that regional process of accreditation, somebody who can emerge as a local, as a regional leader for what we do well. What we do well is enrich young minds. We open up new worlds to them. It is true, and it needs to remain true. It's stated that it will remain true. That the Bulldog graduate who becomes a lawyer, a labor leader, a barber, is richer, regardless of money, and a more engaged citizen because of his education at SCSU. That's my goal for the faculty. Thank you.